The cover leans into a kind of gritty mythic showdown vibe that Guy Ritchie loves. Two faces dominate the composition: Charlie Hunnam on the left and Jude Law on the right, locked in a stare that feels like a Western standoff transplanted into Arthurian legend. It's basically telling you, before you even read a synopsis, that the film is built around rivalry, ego, and power. The sword, obviously Excalibur, slices the image vertically, glowing with runes and a faint electric blue aura. That glow gives the whole cover a slightly supernatural edge, hinting at the magical angle rather than the historical one. Ritchie likes blending rough street-level energy with mythology, and you can see that in the texture of the image. It's a bit dirty, a bit metallic with a dust and fire palette. Hunnam's side is colder and more grounded, beard and leather and a practical, almost working-class look. Jude Law's side is ornate, crowned, gold-leafed and almost arrogant. The contrast spells out the rightful king versus the tyrant, without the cover having to write it out. The title font is a stylized medieval yellow, intentionally old, slightly angular and weathered, giving it a nostalgic fantasy feel without slipping into generic fantasy softness. The modern edge comes from the sharp lighting and the photographic realism. At the top, the text, "From Guy Ritchie, director of Sherlock Holmes," is pure marketing shorthand. It signals the intended tone: action-heavy, stylized, quick-cut fantasy, and tells you not to expect a slow medieval epic. The library sticker from Göteborg covers part of the header, but you can still read the essentials. All in all, the cover communicates three things clearly: a world of raw magic, a story of power struggle, and a tone that is more urban mythic swagger than polite Arthurian legend. It positions the movie as a loud, fast, stylized retelling, more metal album cover than classical fantasy painting, and it owns that. The back cover leans into a mix of heroic myth, street grit, and blockbuster swagger. It's doing a few jobs at once, selling Guy Ritchie's style, highlighting Charlie Hunnam and making the Arthurian legend feel rougher and more kinetic than traditional interpretations. The top half is an action tableau: armored soldiers charging, mouths open in a battle cry. It's chaotic, loud, and deliberately unpolished. The scene immediately signals that this isn't a polite medieval drama. It's big, noisy, and modern in its visual language. Ritchie always brings a kind of aggressive energy, and that top strip captures exactly that. Below that, the Swedish and Finnish blurbs summarize the film in two languages, each placing emphasis on Ritchie's dynamic style. The story is framed as a classic legend rewritten with street-level edge. Arthur losing his birthright, growing up under harsh conditions, and being forced into destiny the moment he pulls the sword. Charlie Hunnam's portrait dominates the middle. His expression is a bit guarded, a bit tough guy with a secret, which fits the film's whole reinterpretation of Arthur as a reluctant, hardened hero. The styling is intentionally non-regal: coarse shirt, unshaven, grounded. Visually, it tries to convince you, here's a king forged in back alleys, not born in a golden crib. The special feature section leans into playful marketing language. Arthur with swagger sets the tone. It's half compliment, half wink, telling the audience that Ritchie's Arthur is not the noble mythic figure from dusty literature, but more of a confident street fighter who just happens to become king. The phrase, "a hunk and a rebel," is classic DVD-era puffery, but it matches the movie's tone. The bottom quarter is a dense block of technical details, languages, audio formats, DVD specs, warnings, the usual obligatory metadata. It's visually busy but standard for Scandinavian DVD releases. The Swedish and Finnish rating labels sit prominently with the Rek från 11 år recommendation and the Pan-Nordic age icon. Finally, there's a small image of Jude Law in his ornate, cruel-looking crown near the bottom right. His presence reinforces the central conflict, the tyrant versus the grounded hero, a visual echo of the stare-down on the front cover. Altogether, the back cover communicates action, attitude, a modernized legend, and a confident leading man. The message is simple but loud. This is Arthurian myth through the lens of a stylish, kinetic filmmaker.
This disc design goes for a raw, almost primitive graphic identity, the kind of look that feels like someone carved a symbol into wood with a blunt knife. The big white emblem in the center, splattered and uneven, isn't delicate at all. It carries that rebellious, rough, street myth energy that the movie is built on. It's basically shouting, "This isn't your grandma's Arthurian legend." The black background amplifies the contrast, making the symbol feel harsher, almost tribal. There's no attempt at medieval elegance here, just a heavy, scratched, weathered texture. The typography, the same jagged medieval-inspired title font from the front cover, grounds it in the fantasy world, but the overall style keeps it gritty and modern. Near the bottom, the Village Roadshow and Warner Brothers logos sit quietly alongside the legal text. They're minimal and small, which keeps the disc face mostly about the stark contrast between that white emblem and the deep black field behind it. What the disc communicates is simple: raw legend, rough edges, and a myth told with fists rather than fairy tale softness. Everything about the design doubles down on that tone.